The Minor Hustle spell and the Minor Hustle upgrade have both created interesting conversations and debates in the Stick Wars server. Many argue that the Minor Hustle spell is way better than the Minor Hustle upgrade, and vice versa. But what's the truth? Which tech is really better? Is it the spell? Is it the upgrade? Well, I'm not really going to show you which one is better. In all honesty, that just comes down to personal opinion. What this is an experiment to see which tech is better in terms of income generation. Now, before I begin, I do want to reiterate that this is just an experiment to see which tech is better in terms of gathering income. When it comes to Stick War 3, you never know what's going to happen. You never know the outcome of a fight. With that being said, there's no guarantee that you can go for this spell or go for this upgrade at any time you please. If you happen to be caught in a really intense battle and you're falling behind and say you have to play defensively, you are better off affording the Minor Hustle spell than you are the upgrade. From personal experience, I've been caught in many situations where I'm able to use the spell anytime I need to, but I'm only able to go for maybe one tier on the Minor Hustle upgrade, or maybe even 2 tiers. In most situations, if you're falling behind and you need to conserve your gold to purchase units, you're not going to be thinking about the Minor Hustle upgrade most of the time. And I'm saying this to say, just don't think that because of what I'm about to show you, it makes it super easy for you to go for this spell or this upgrade. Again, in terms of what is better, it really just comes down to what you personally think. There are decks where the spell or the upgrade will be the best thing ever, and there are decks people make where the spell or the upgrade will be completely useless in it. So I just wanted to state that. Now let's go over some of the pros and cons for each tech. There is a good chance that I am not including them all here, and in that case, we're just going to skip over them. Beginning with the pros for the Minor Hustle spell. The first one being it's inexpensive, only costing 50 mana. And the second one, it gives an excellent speed boost to your economy. Going over the cons, the effects are not permanent, the spell does fade, and it has a 60-second cooldown. So you do have to wait quite a bit of time before you can activate the spell again. Then transitioning to the upgrade. The pros for the upgrade is its effects are permanent. When you research one tier, the effects will be permanent on your miners, and the second one, it increases miner health. Now going over the cons, we have a lot more cons for the Minor Hustle upgrade. The maxed out speed boost is still slower than the spell. The maxed out mining rate increase is 45%, where the spell is 50%. And on top of that, the walking speed of the miners is significantly faster when you use the spell over the upgrade. The second con is it takes a collective 600 gold and 600 mana to max out. To put this into perspective, in Stick Empires, Minor Hustle was a one-time purchase of 300 gold and 100 mana. Once you researched that, you had your permanent boost to your miners' speed and health. In this case, it's 3 tiers, 600 gold and 600 mana to get the full potential out of this upgrade. And that takes us to the third con. It will take you at least 135 seconds to max this out, which converts to about 2.25 minutes, assuming the tiers are immediately researched, meaning the moment one tier finishes researching, you have the resources to go for the next tier just like that. Assuming that you do this, it will still take you a little bit over 2 minutes or 135 seconds to get the full potential out of this upgrade. And although the effects are permanent, the speed boost that it gives will not be as good as the Minor Hustle spell. For the next part of the experiment, I wanted to see which tech can produce a maxed out economy faster. In Stick War 3, if we're talking about 1v1, and maxed out economy, consists of 12 miners, meaning you have 2 miners on every gold mine and 2 miners on every crystal mine. All of that maxes out to a total of 12 miners. And I wanted to see which tech would allow us to get the maxed out economy faster. So I'll show you the results of those experiments.
Okay, so up first we have the Miner Hustle spell. And in case you're noticing, I am not putting a miner on mana to go for the 50 mana to use it right away. And the reason why I did that is because I think it's best to use the Miner Hustle spell when you have at least 4 to 5 miners. I think you get more effectiveness out of it. Now in hindsight, it really just comes down to personal preference. If you want to use it at the start of the game, that's totally fine if you want to. I just think it's better to go for it much later. So the way this experiment works is we want to see how long it takes for us to get to the maximum of 12 miners with the assistance of each tech. And the experiment comes to an end when the final miner has successfully finished training from the queue. So it's not me I didn't wait until the miner was out to the resource patch collecting resources. I ended it when the miner was finished when the miner was finished training from the queue, the final miner. And now with the video significantly slowed down, we can see that the final miner finishes training right as the time of the game hit 2 minutes and 31 seconds. So at 2 minutes and 31 seconds, the Miner Hustle spell has allowed us to get a maxed out economy at that time. And looking at the resources that the miners generated even after that, it's a pretty decent amount. Let me move on to the Miner Hustle upgrade, and this one was a bit tricky. I basically had to go for the first tier Miner Hustle immediately because we're trying to get the maximum effectiveness out of this tech pretty much as soon as possible. So we don't get as many miners at the start because again, we have to pour 600 gold and 600 mana into getting all 3 tiers of this Miner Hustle upgrade, not to mention how long it takes to wait. And in this case, it was way over 135 seconds because there were periods in this experiment where I didn't have enough resources to go for the next tier immediately after the first one was finished researching, so it took even longer to get this out. So on top of waiting until we get a maxed out economy, we also have to wait until the 3rd tier Miner Hustle upgrade has kicked in to see how long it took for all of this to happen. So given the fact that I have not trained any more miners here, that means that I queued up all 12 miners that I need, but we are still not done because the 3rd tier Miner Hustle upgrade has not finished researching. Once it finishes researching, then we will look at the time and see how long it took for all of this. And once again, if I slow down the video here, the 3rd tier Miner Hustle with our maxed out economy kicks in at the 2 minute 54 second mark. And looking at the resources we've collected, it's a bit less than what the Miner Hustle spell generated, but I don't think it is that far off.
So I would still probably say that the Miner Hustle spell is slightly more efficient when it comes to generating economy. You don't need 600 gold and 600 mana to get effectiveness out of it. It doesn't require 3 tiers or anything like that. Although I still wouldn't count the Miner Hustle upgrade completely out. Although again, we have to remember that outcomes of a match will dictate your ability to be able to go for either the spell or the upgrade. If you're forced to play defensive and you have to spend your gold on army units or your resources on army units, you still have a much better chance of using the Minor Hustle spell without severe punishment as compared to the upgrade, which again requires 600 gold and 600 mana in total to get the maxed out effectiveness of it. There is one more experiment that I conducted, which I wanted to see which tech is better in terms of saving your miners. So let's say you face the worst case scenario. Oh no, I have a Shadow Rat spamming with rage and everything, and the rest of my economy with 4 ninjas. With both of these techs, the Minor Hustle spell and the maxed out upgrade, which one will allow your miners to get away faster?
Now, I know 4 ninjas isn't exactly the craziest rush in the entire world that would, be guaranteed to obliterate everything. However, I still use that since ninjas are the fastest units in the game, and when you use rage, they are even faster, which means they have fast closing speed. So the way I did this is I garrisoned the miners the moment the ninjas came into frame, and with the Minor Hustle spell, the ninjas were only able to kill 1 miner. Now we move on to the Minor Hustle upgrade, and this one is a bit trickier because although the miners cannot move as fast as those that are affected by the spell, they do get a health increase, and these are order miners, meaning they have 115 HP now with the maxed out miner upgrade. So we have less speed but more health. Will this allow the miners to survive a rush from the same 4 ninjas, which again I know isn't very destructive? I probably needed to get more ninjas to inflict more damage, but either way, same result. We garrison the moment the ninjas come into frame. The ninjas use rage. With the Minor Hustle spell, they were able to kill 1 miner. With the upgrade, the ninjas are able to clap 2. So 1 more miner than the spell. But I would say both techs were very useful in allowing the miners to escape quickly.
So overall, I will admit that I am a bit more surprised. I think the experiments came to be a lot closer than I thought. I was honestly expecting the Minor Hustle spell to just blow the Minor Hustle upgrade out of the water in terms of economic effectiveness. They don't seem to be that far apart. However, again, we can never forget that the outcome of a game will change your ability to do things. In terms of long-term games, you're better off with the Minor Hustle upgrade if we're talking late game here. But for all other things, I would probably say you're better off using the Minor Hustle spell. It's just a lot cheaper. You still get a pretty good income game out of it. Sure, you don't get your health increase and the effects are not permanent, and it has a 60-second cooldown, but overall I still think it's a way cheaper alternative to the Minor Hustle upgrade, which I've always thought to be a bit unnecessary in terms of the upgrade tiers to begin with. Having 2 tiers I would accept, but I think 3 is just a bit too unnecessary, which is why most of the time I personally stay away from the Minor Hustle upgrade. Not that I'm saying it's bad, it's just not as effective. So yeah, like I said before, it all just comes down to whatever you guys think. Stick to your preferences, whatever works for you, stick to it. If it helps you win games using the Minor Hustle spell, use it. If it helps you win games with the upgrade, keep using it. This was a small little experiment that I wanted to conduct just to see what they would produce. So that'll be all for this video, and I will see you in the next one.